to talk about conscious entrepreneurship. He's like a Buddha, except in the venture capitalist world, except he's not holding a lotus flower. He's holding a balance sheet and a term sheet. He's been ex-executive for Honda, Salomon Brothers, and AMD. Let's see what you have to say. Let's welcome Mr. David Chen to the stage.
Maybe on my PowerPoint here. Thank you everyone for having patience to stay this long. I know we're waiting for food, and I'm truly impressed by all the topics that we wrote tonight, from the economy to physics to Donald Trump. Truly impressed. But I think the most important topic that I want to talk about tonight is about you, why we're here, and what makes us do what we do every day, and the trajectory of our life, because that's the most important. More important than physics, more important than Donald Trump, in my opinion. And it's about how to achieve that through the lens of entrepreneurship and launching companies to make a difference in your life and in the world. And I've been an angel investor for about 20 years. I've seen thousands and thousands of business plans and thousands of entrepreneurs. And most of these companies don't make it because highly risky, and the path of entrepreneurship from the idea to the IPO or the exit is highly, highly precarious. And over the years, I've come up with a formula, at least I think works in my opinion, that will help you become a more successful entrepreneur if that's what you want to do. And let me ask, who in the room is an entrepreneur? Who has their own company or academic? Yes. Okay. All right. I think there are more people because if you work as an entrepreneur, if you work as an investor, if you have a corporate job, whatever it is, if you work in the arts, it's all about creativity. It's all about discovering yourself, and you can apply that. And it's only when you discover that and discover that purpose that makes you different and unique, where you'll find that ultimate sense of joy. And through that joy, hopefully you find satisfaction in your life. So tonight, we're going to talk about, in the short time that I have, about my definition of conscious entrepreneurship, a little quick primer on angel investing, the importance of community, and a couple of recommendations that I would have. So, here's my definition of what conscious entrepreneurship really is, and I've highlighted the key words for you. But really it is for people to be empowered to discover your purpose, awareness, and integrity. And by that I mean authenticity, discovering your authenticity in such a way that brings value to people, planet, and the collective consciousness, because we're all connected, right? This gentleman who talked about physics and God, right? I was never a religious person, I'm still not, but I believe in the fact that there's a higher power out there that connects us all through this notion of consciousness, right? And the idea is to elevate your potential for doing good and obviously economic value. And it applies to both founders and investors. And I want to shift gears a bit because a lot of people ask me, as an angel investor, what does it take to become a successful person to raise money for me? And the intention when you're looking to raise money when you don't have it is to seek somebody else's money so you can fund your business, get runway, get a balance sheet, and be able to take your company to the next level. Show milestones and raise more money. Raise more money, raise more money until you go IPO. Then you raise more money from the public markets. That's how that works. And the framework really is about people ask me, how do you raise money? And here's the traditional way. It's like talk about market, technology, customers, your advantage, and team, right? Kind of very business-like. But what I believe now is the real key to success in pitching investors like me, who are purpose-driven, is really about articulating your authenticity, understanding your hero's journey, understand where you came from, where you are, where you want to go, what is your trajectory. Importantly, what is your purpose and passion? Passion, they're not the same, right? We all have passions, but the question is it really your purpose? Can you really take that as a piece in your life that leads you to make something truly tremendous that impacts the world, impacts your own life? And what is your mission, right? So if you can be clear about that, then I think that's half the battle for pitching to investors such as me, because I'm mission driven. So we've established a framework, and the framework is based on, if you look at the bottom, there's community. So what is community? Tonight we're in a group of whatever, 50, 60 people. This is community. Gloria has formed community through BIBS, right? And it's about establishing education curriculum, doing things that allow people to learn about things that are new to them or want to discover something different. It's also about living sustainably. We're looking to, in my projects, at least to launch sustainable villages based on nature, based on what's called biomimicry, the architecture of nature, and new technology, which is Web3, AI, cryptos, etc. But the ultimate goal on the top there is ultimately to raise consciousness, to kind of understand yourself by the raising of consciousness, and hopefully the discovery of God, right? Whatever you define God to be. I don't think God is out there. God is within you. We are all versions of God, actually, in my opinion. So last year we launched something called a community called the New York City Conscious Innovation, Conscious Entrepreneurs Get Together. We get together every month to talk about how to launch companies based on purpose, based on intention, based on authenticity. And our next event is on November the 24th. If you want to go, I'll have my contact details later. Be sure to email me, and I'll give you a discount. This is the land project. We want to live in nature, live within the realms of discovering ourselves through nature. So we have a land project 2 hours here in upstate New York. And this is also work in progress at this point. So this framework is based on entrepreneurship, based on creativity, raising consciousness, and technology. The technology part really is, now that Web3 is here, now that cryptos are back, I want to say, it's about taking the physical and linking to the digital. So very soon now, that's not us, that's not me. Back to the screen. Okay, so we're launching this digital collection of trees. It'll be 1,000 unique NFTs with images and possibly music down the road. The idea is that these trees are based on trees on our land, and if you buy one of these images, it gives you the ticket to come to our upstate New York retreat and to hug trees, to meditate with trees, to raise your consciousness by being in nature. And hopefully through that process, you get to discover yourself. Because trees have consciousness, trees have energy, and hopefully through that meditative process that you discover your version of God, right? And hopefully through that awareness and that discovery purpose that you get to launch something, whether it's a piece of art, whether it's a piece of music, or it's a company that ends up changing the world. So these are going to be on for sale very soon as well. And we launched also this incubator program. It's a venture studio which is launched in Princeton because I live in Princeton. And the idea is that we teach you how to discover yourself through meditation and mindfulness. And I teach this, the business part of this by case method, like I was taught at Harvard. 4 weeks and 15 founders. So, okay, let's get the practical part here. Who's raising money? Who wants to raise money? Who wants free money? Michael Daly. Money comes at a cost, it's not free, unless it's a donation. Fundraising suggestions, okay. Of course, the practical stuff, team market, advantage, technology, value proposition. But as I said earlier, understand yourself, understand your mission, understand your purpose, and discover what your authenticity is. That's my suggestion. So meditate more, hug trees. Okay, here's a quick snapshot of my reading list. Over the years, I've been meditating for 6 years, and this is just some, but there are more books that I have, it gives you a flavor. I've been doing transcendental meditation, I've been learning about the Kabbalah, the Chinese I Ching as well. These books are on some of my reading lists. The ones that are highlighted, like Clay Christensen, who knows who Clay was? Clay passed away a couple years ago. He was my professor at Harvard Business School. He was well known for something called the Innovator's Dilemma. And the framework of that about disruptive technology, disruptive innovation, became very, very well known. The last book that he wrote, because Clay was a Mormon, was called How Will You Measure Your Life? And it doesn't have to do with technology innovation, but it has to do with how will you measure how your life was impactful for yourself at the end of your life. So I highly recommend that. Clay passed away a couple of years ago, but he left a deep impact on many of his students, like me. The other book I can recommend that's highlighted is the Yogananda book. It's called The Autobiography of a Yogi. And they gave out that book during the funeral of Steve Jobs. So we all know who Steve Jobs was, and many of us use his products today. But many of us may not know that Steve Jobs is deeply spiritual by the teachings of Yogananda. And through that, he was able to download stuff from God, or source, things like the iPhone, things that kind of gave him these visionary ideas when people thought it was absolutely crazy to launch a phone without buttons. Think back to Motorola and Nokia, where you had physical buttons on the phones. People thought it was absolutely crazy. But look at where we are today. So that's visionary. So this is my contact, my LinkedIn. That is the application to the incubator, the accelerator program that we run through Princeton Venture Studio. Again, our next event is on November 24th here in New York City. That's my phone number and email. And I'm happy to talk to anybody about this stuff because that's my focus now, is authentic entrepreneurship by raising consciousness.